Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. This is yet another presentation video of JAPO, but this time follow a slightly different format. We took the time to put together all frequently asked questions about JAPO and then came up with this agenda. We will start by answering the first question, who started JAPO? And then we will do a little bit of explaining about why we even started this project. A live demo will follow, and then we will answer one of the most popular questions, how JAPO really works behind the scenes. And then comes one of the very interesting questions, why do we even need JAPO today if we have AI bots such as ChatGPT and many others? And then we will briefly introduce who or what is JAPO Dev Solutions. And we will finish by providing a glimpse at the future of JAPO. My name is Mohamed. I am a Java developer and software architect. I wrote my first line of Java code back in 2007. And starting from 2010, I accumulated professional experience as a Java developer and in various industries. In 2021, just after the release of Java 17, I also started two open source Java libraries, Froporec and Giselle. Back in October of 2023, I started JAPO along with a very small team of engineers dedicated to maintaining not only JAPO, but also the two previously mentioned open source libraries. Why and how we came up with JAPO can be summarized in 4 different stages. The very first idea came up as we were adding more and more annotations to our own current product. Since their releases, Froporec and Giselle kept adding more and more new annotations. Typical thing we see with most known Java annotation processors such as the ones right here on this slide. Now, with these many annotations in multiple Java libraries, we started wondering what if we would like to add a new annotation to our own libraries? How do we know whether the name we are using for that new annotation is original and doesn't already exist in other products? Well, before JAPO, there was no way to do so. Also, with a lack of dedicated search engine, searching for the documentation for a single annotation name could take minutes. To confirm this, we reached out to the Java developers themselves and sent them a questionnaire. From over 60 responses received, over 50% confirmed they do make use of popular search engines while researching for an annotation documentation. And when it comes to facing naming collisions, which is the possibility of an annotation name being present in multiple Java libraries, almost 90% say they encounter such a problem. And to finish, we have almost 70% of the developers confirming that they do spend over 5 minutes whenever they are researching information on annotations documentations. That, as you can see, doesn't help. Because let's say if you have over 10 or 20 annotations within one class, one Java class, and you need to research them all, spending over 5 minutes for each one of them definitely impacts your productivity. Putting together all of these challenges, we were able to create a set of requirements which led us to architect and implement our first cloud-based solution, and which we choose to name Java Annotations Repo, or JAPO for short. This slide right here is a summary of features currently offered by JAPO. Now, let's quickly jump to the main page and show how JAPO works. The current version of JAPO is available exclusively as a REST API. So the typical way you will access JAPO will be through a REST client such as Postman or any tool that could perform HTTP requests and display JSON responses. In order to test the endpoints exposed by JAPO, we created this basic single web page from where you can perform your requests. So as you can see, this is a very simple page where we list the endpoints offered by JAPO. This is not the complete list. but you can see all of it when you click on this Swagger Hub documentation link right here. Now, the main endpoint here being the search endpoint, we're gonna do a quick demo of that. Let's say you are looking for the documentation of one of the most popular annotation named the builder annotation. It's an annotation from the Lombok Java library, so as it's very popular, I guess most of you guys must have an idea what this annotation is about. So the builder annotation in normal time is written like this, but you are not required with JAPO to enter the complete name. It can be just part of it. It can be only one letter and so on. So let's just play with it and leave it like this, for example. And then searching by annotations. Searches can be done also by artifact, but this time we are just looking for any annotations containing this keyword here. And now if we look at the result returned by JAPO, we will see that we have a few sections. We're gonna just collapse them here. So the requests you entered, you know, through the keywords and the type of search here are repeated here in the requested data section of the header block of the JSON response, along with the whether the request is valid and the time it was submitted. Now the search result is found in the result section here, where you first have the total amount of annotations that are returned matching this keyword here, the one you selected. And then below that you have the pagination information. So here we have a particular case of where we have 11 annotations returned, but then JAPO is by default limited to 10 elements per page. So that makes it a two-page search results. So we have here the first page that is currently listed here, as you can see, 1 of 2 as the current page, the size, which is the total amount of elements already talked about, and now you have an additional link here, which is the link to the next page. And if we were already on that page, you will have another link to the previous page, which we won't see here. Now the search result itself is here. Now, luckily, the very first search result here is the builder annotation itself, the one we were looking for. But let's take a look all around. As you can see, because we entered these 3 letters as the search criteria, we have several other search results matching the same criteria till the end, as you can see. Now, here, additionally to the simple name of the annotation return, we also have information about in how many artifacts you can find the same annotation. So, typically, as we just mentioned, where there are possible naming collisions from one library to another, you might have the same annotation showing up, but doing completely different purposes, even though the name is the same. This is the exact same situation we have here with the builder annotation, where we actually have 2 annotations named builder, which can be found in 2 different Maven artifacts. Now, by clicking this link right here, the search link, as you can see, this is another endpoint. Actually, it's the endpoint that will display all of the annotations qualified name having this simple name right here. So once we click on this, you will see that we will have you have the same format here. The JSON response has always the same structure from one request to another. It's only the result section that changes depending on the search you are doing. So right here we have the very first result, which is matching the Lombok builder annotation, which we were actually looking for. And besides that, because you just saw that we have actually 2 annotations in 2 different libraries, there is a second one, which is the builder annotation from, as we can see, the map_strut Java library. Now, for each one of those, the type of information returned is the same, almost the same, which is you first have the simple name, qualified name of the annotation, whether the annotation is deprecated or not. And here you have the most important link, which is the Java doc URL of that specific annotation, coming straight from the official page of Lombok itself, as you can see here. So, and it's up to date. This is the latest version actually. So you have the entire Java doc here with all the details. Now, besides the Java doc, we always have this additional link here which allows you to see the details of the annotation itself. It's no different from what you have here already. It's simply a convenient link created for you to, for example, be able to communicate with your colleagues, the details of the annotation or so on. And then comes all of the relevant details regarding the Java library or Maven artifact, to be specific, the Maven artifact to which the annotation belongs. So here is the case of Lombok. As you can see, we have all of the information, including the latest version, the latest release date, and the total amount of annotations from that library. If you go down here with mapstruct, you will see that you have the same thing. Okay. So that's basically what it is regarding the search endpoint. Okay, as we just saw, there are a few other endpoints, but I will let you take a look at it and play with it and get to discover it yourself. Another endpoint which is really important and which I'm gonna talk about here is the stats endpoint, which is it's an endpoint that performs some sort of analysis or metrics on every single one of the annotations and then return some useful information, especially if you are a custom annotation creator. So here, for example, you have this simpler stat here, which is anno deprecated, the list of all deprecated annotations. You might think, why this? You know why deprecated is because let's say you want to create a brand new custom annotation of your own and you're looking for the right name, and then through JAPO you find out that the name you are interested in already exists in another library, but it's deprecated. So this is like a good thing for you. So you can go ahead and choose it as your annotation name, non-deprecated, and then go with it. So here you have the entire lists. Here we have 44 right now, but we will be adding more and more as we are discovering them one by one in each library. And yeah, besides that, apart from the list of deprecated annotation, you also have here the list of Java JDK annotations. Well, we all use the JDK every day, but we cannot for sure say exactly how many annotation the JDK comes with. But then you have here the annotation names used by more than one artifact, which is actually a very important stat functionality also. And as we just saw now, the builder annotation can be found in two different libraries. Here you have many other cases, for example, the generated annotation that can be found in 3. The map key in 3, you have the qualifier, also known in Spring Framework, for example, but it also exists in Jakarta EE and few others. So here we have 3. I'll let you take a look and see which ones, and many others. So this is how the stat endpoint helps, by returning you this sort of statistics info that can really be helpful if you are dealing with the creation of annotation especially. And then well, there are a few others, and of course this list is gonna grow, you know, as we get to know more and more the behaviors adopted by the Java developers when they are dealing with multiple annotations. We'll find out what can be helpful and added here with time in the future. Alright, so that's basically it regarding JAPO. JAPO.dev is the page, and I'll let you take a look at it and find out by yourself how it looks like. Alright, now back to our presentation. Now that we just saw how JAPO works, let's now answer the next question. What is really happening behind the scenes with JAPO? This you see here on this slide is the first version of JAPO architecture at a very high level and simplified. Okay. There are 3 main units involved in the functioning of JAPO. Okay. You have the very first unit here, which is the search request unit, which involves the user interactions with JAPO. In a pretty straightforward way, the search request parameters are matched against the content of JAPO database, and then the result is formatted and returned to the user as a JSON text. Okay. And then we have the Maven central unit, which is actually the most important one, as this is how we actually populate JAPO database with current data pulled from the Maven central repository, and this happens on a daily basis. And then even after the information from the Maven central repository is stored in JAPO database, we perform some manual reviews on a regular basis to either ensure data integrity or store additional data, which we know could be very helpful to the Java developers. So this entire architecture or diagram you're looking at here is showing at a very high level how things work in JAPO. Now comes the next questions, which is relevant nowadays. Why do we still need JAPO if we already have AI? Despite having so many chatbots nowadays, such as ChatGPT and many others, there are still a few interesting reasons why you as a Java developer still need JAPO. We placed both tools side by side in this table here to show you how a possible comparison will look like. When it comes to primary focus of each tool, it's important to note that while AI tools are typically designed to cover a broad range of topics, JAPO really focuses only on Java developers as its primary target. JAPO was created and is currently maintained by Java developers for Java developers. Okay. Besides offering a quick access to the most up-to-date annotations and libraries documentations, we are taking advantage to announce that very soon we will also be offering code samplers for every single Java annotation. Now, when it comes to user interactions, AI tools are able to crawl through several different sources from the internet, including books, articles, any sort of officially reachable data available on the internet. Additionally, you can have a real natural conversation with AI. And for example, even if you write an annotation name the wrong way, there is always a chance that AI will suggest the right name you were looking for, and this is something we agree JAPO at this moment cannot do. Okay. Now, in return, and that leads us to the next point, despite returning information from multiple sources over the internet, the free versions of AI tools usually offer data over a couple of years old. That might not be helpful for the Java developers because, as we know, it's always best practice to keep our project dependencies, libraries always up to date. Okay. One last interesting aspect we identified and which we think is good for you guys to know about. By taking good advantage of the natural language communication offered by AI tools, we could get suggestions regarding which Java annotations can be used for a specific use case, along with the libraries where those annotations can be found. But with JAPO, because you are required to provide part of the name of the annotation or Java library, it makes it more suitable for situations where you have your existing project open in your IDE, and then on the side you will have JAPO open and where you will be copy pasting the annotations names. So this is it regarding JAPO versus AI, and we hope this comparison table will help you decide which one to use and when based on your needs. Now the next question, who or what is JAPO Dev Solutions? Well, we are simply a group of experienced and very passionate Java developers. Okay. Besides JAPO, we are also maintaining 2 open source products, and additional products will follow soon. Okay. And because Java is really our passion, one of our main goals at JAPO Dev Solutions is knowledge sharing. All of the videos we published are not only about new products or new versions of products, but also provide useful technical information for the Java developers. Now, with all of this being done at JAPO Dev Solutions comes the next question: where is JAPO heading? In its current version, we do see JAPO as an integration solution, feeding you with data coming mainly from the Maven central repository after some additional processing. As time goes by, we will be integrating JAPO with as many external repositories as possible. And of course, JAPO database remains, containing not only information from the external repositories, but also whenever from our own experience we find any sort of important or very useful information to share with you, the Java developers, regarding annotations or libraries, we will be adding those directly to the JAPO database. And because JAPO is currently a REST API and will remain so, even if we get to develop a complete UI in the near future, which is part of the plan, we are also considering the possibility of extending JAPO access from not only web browsers, but also from your favorite IDEs to the development of custom plugins, and even from your mobile devices with the development of custom applications. So as you see, there might be a long way ahead of us, but taking small steps is really what matters. With this, I'm happy to announce that the upcoming version of JAPO API will feature very useful features such as the subscription and notifications services, along with the outcome of the initial redesign phase of the JAPO webpage. More details will be revealed regarding that. As we mentioned on one of our previous slides, one of the missions of JAPO Dev Solutions is knowledge sharing with all our fellow Java developers around the world, and with the main focus put on the latest Java LTS versions and related tools or practices. We put together a little video about how we were able to drastically improve JAPO by integrating Java 21 and Helidon 4. We recommend checking out that video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. For every new feature added to JAPO or new version being released, we will publish a new video and will remain available to answer any additional questions you have. See you in the next video.